This course that you're taking is called Physical Education A, or what's often referred to as Freshman Gym. So if you do not know this, in order to get a diploma from the state of Michigan, you must take 1 semester of physical education. That is a requirement. So for some of you that are thinking this is not going to be very much fun, or you're not going to enjoy the class, or I've always hated PE, I apologize for that. But ultimately, we can try to make this a good experience for you and do the best that we can. So a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Albion, Michigan, and we used to actually compete against Sturgis High School. So some of you have parents that are from Sturgis. They may have, competed against our high school. They were kind of not rivals, but anyway. So I used to come down here a lot as a youth. I attended Albion College, and I ran cross country and track at Albion, and I coached there for about 5 years after kind of being done with my athletic career. I then spent a year coaching strength and conditioning at the University of Michigan for in the Department of Olympic Sports. And then while I was kind of finishing and working on my master's degree from Western at the same time. And after finishing at Western, my first teaching job was in Battle Creek Public Schools, and I had a very good experience there and really enjoyed teaching and coaching up there. And however, my daughter and my wife, who you'll see in a minute, were down here in Sturgis. So it seemed best for me to take the opportunity in 2014 to start teaching here in Sturgis Public Schools. So some of you I might have had as kindergartners at Wenzel if you're a freshman, or you might have been a first grader at Wenzel if you're a sophomore. So I taught there for 1 year, taught at the middle school for my second year in Sturgis, and then in 2016 was my first year teaching the strength and conditioning classes up here at the high school. So my wife, Mrs. Starkey, she's a reading specialist at Congress Elementary School. Some of you might have had her or knew her. She is also our girls' head track and field coach, and she gets very upset with me if I do not talk about my kids and my family on the first day of school. So this is my daughter, Alice. She's in 6th grade. And this is my son, Henry. He is in 2nd grade. And we really enjoy traveling together. That's something that is really important to us and to our family. Some of the older students make fun of how rusty and crusty my car is. But, at the end of the day, I would rather not spend the money on a new car in order to be able to take trips kind of all over the world. So this coming summer, we're kind of finalizing the details of a trip to England and Scotland. And as Harry Potter nerds, my kids are very excited about that opportunity. So kind of here to answer some questions about this course. So Physical Education A is a basic physical education course. And we're going to learn sports in different units. So we may spend an entire week or a 2-week period learning about practicing the skills and actually playing the games of various different sporting activities. Now, which ones we do and when we do them will kind of depend on our other physical education teacher, Mr. Golden, who teaches most of the freshman gym classes. So we don't want to have, if he's doing pickleball, let's say, we don't exactly want to pause the pickleball unit in order to set up volleyball, then have to take volleyball down and then set up pickleball. Yes, so we don't want to waste time doing our doing sports at a different time than he is. So we typically do the same things that the rest of his classes are doing for equipment purposes. So each unit is going to be focused on skills. So we focus on learning and understanding the basic skills that go into a given sport so that you have some ability to be able to participate. We also include per unit a quiz that will go over the rules, equipment, other types of like the skill learning process. And those you can use any resources you want online to answer those quizzes. And also I will give usually a YouTube video that accompanies each quiz. So you could watch the video, answer the questions, watch the video, answer the questions. That's completely acceptable. Kind of the main and only reason kids don't do well on the quizzes is they either just rush through them or they just refuse to do them at all and they get a 0. So that's something that's just going to be part of the class. I want to make sure we get this out front and that you know about it. We also will do some skill testing. The skill testing will not be graded. It would just be something that I use to know whether or not you're grasping the concept. So if you've never done a basketball layup, I might ask you to perform one. I'll look at the criteria of the rubric and then give you feedback based on that and something you can improve. Then I might test you again later. But either way, just have a decent attitude about trying to learn. Our final exam is a summary of all those online quizzes. So like if we ask you 5 questions in an online quiz and we do 10 of them, I'll pull from those 50 questions to create the final exam. Final exam also includes your swimming assessment scores, which is something we can talk about in a few minutes. Okay, our grading policy. So our grading policy is kind of the opposite of the rest of the school. So most of your classes, 65% of your grade is going to be your daily active participation. And in our course, 65% of your grade, most of your classes is the opposite. 65% is academic or your test and quiz scores, and then 20% is homework. In my class, 65% of your grade is going to be your daily active participation and dressing out. Then 20% of the class will be these quizzes and any other kind of tests that we might administer. I know it says skill tests on there, but that's not like the ones I would use informally. And then 15% of your grade is based on the final exam, which does mirror that of the rest of the school. So daily expectations. So every single solitary day we have class, unless I tell you otherwise, you are expected to dress in athletic clothing. That means an athletic top or sweatshirt, athletic pants or shorts, and athletic shoes. So just to be clear, Crocs and slides are not athletic shoes. Okay, and this is an all or nothing. If you dress out, you'll get all 5 points. If you're missing one of those 3 things, okay, so you have Jordans on, you have a sweatshirt on, and you have jeans on, you don't get 2/3 of the points. You get 0. It's all or nothing. This is the same policy we have on the older levels of physical education as well. Okay, so we start class 5 minutes after the bell rings. So on a conventional activity day, the bell will ring for 4th hour at 10:31. We would have class our class would begin at 10:36. All right. So that gives you 5 minutes to dress out, change your clothes if you need to. Now, some people always ask, well, what if I wear sweatpants and a t-shirt every single day to school? No, you wouldn't have to change out. I mean, I prefer you do so you don't smell going in the next hour, but that is your choice if you do not want to. Because you are dressed in athletic apparel, we will give you points for that. At the end of the day, we would give you 10 minutes to go to the locker rooms if you need to and to change back out. So, and also for some people, they may not need 10 minutes, but sometimes it's nice to have a couple minutes to just kind of relax and kind of calm down a little bit before you go to the next class. When you enter the gym or before we start the actual taking attendance, etc., I will ask you to put your cell phones in the caddy, which is in a closet right next to where we take attendance. And simply, if I see your phone out and you didn't put it in the caddy, I'll ask you to put it in the caddy. A second reminder, I'll just take it for the remainder of the hour. We do expect you to participate in our warm-up every day. Our warm-up might include jogging around the auxiliary gym. It might include us jogging around the track. Just so you know, it has to be at least 45 degrees for us to go out to the track. So just something to keep a heads up on. You might want to bring a sweatshirt on a kind of moderately cool day. For the beginning of the semester during the winter, rarely will we go out in January. It's probably going to be more like into the end of February and early March. After the warm-up and stretching, we would meet as a whole group and go over a specific skill that we're going to learn and focus on for the day. Usually I explain and or demonstrate the skill, and then we split into groups or partners and do some kind of skill practice before proceeding on to the next activity. After a day, usually 1 day, sometimes 2 days of skills and drills, we would enter into some kind of setting up teams and actually participating in playing the game. Again, the focus here is not competitive success. The focus is learning skills and learning how to perform them so you can have some level of engagement in the activity. Then I'll bring you together for some kind of a summary. And then with that 10 minutes to go, I would dismiss you. Okay, so I just want to cover on this page kind of like the big issue items that students typically have in this physical education A course. And the first one I want to talk about is the swimming unit. So at some point in January or February, we will head over to the community pool to learn how to perform basic swimming strokes, life-saving skills, and kind of different floating activities. This is a very important thing, A, because we have the only public or school affiliated swimming pool in the entire county, but also because swimming can be a life or death skill. I'm sure we've all heard of or possibly even know somebody who's had someone in their family die from drowning. So, we don't want to take this lightly, and it's something we should take very, very seriously. So, we will give you extended time to walk over to the swimming pool, extended time to get kind of changed back out. I just want to warn you now, because it's something that some of us might be very anxious about. Yes, you would have to go over there and change into a swimsuit. That can be uncomfortable for some of you, but I promise you this is something that is very important, probably one of the few things you will, if you're not already well-versed in how to swim, this is something that could really change your life potentially for the better. If you're on one of our swimming teams, you're an avid participator in swimming, or you have your own pool, that's great. Just participate with everybody else, get a great score, and we shouldn't have to worry about it. We're going to split the class into two groups, preferably all boys for 1 week, all girls for 1 week. But sometimes people have absences or other types of issues that they may have to delay and might have to switch into the other group. So it is a mandatory unit, though. Skipping it, missing it, saying you can't do it will cause a problem for you and for your grade. Again, since this is a required class, again, if you're anxious or worried about it, let's just get through this together and make the best that we can of it so we don't have to take it again. But ultimately, if you have some very serious medical concern or psychological concern as it comes to swimming, please discuss this with me before we start it, and so I can try to find the best way to get you accommodated. Next topic is, again, talking about this dressing out thing. So if 65% of your total grade is dressing out and participating, half of that is participation, so doing the activity as assigned by the teacher, participating in the game, not getting in trouble with other people. But 32% of your total grade is just wearing gym clothes. So if you participated very well, you work hard, you're not rude to the teacher or to other your classmates, and you're just a great student to have every single solitary day, but you always wear your work boots, that means the best possible grade you can get is 67.5. And that's a lot of points to lose for something as simple as throwing on a pair of sweats. So I really encourage you to start developing some kind of plan. When I return on Wednesday, we will discuss lockers and how we're going to deal with locker rooms and getting locks and keeping your stuff secure and how you enter and how you exit. But understand there is going to be that as an option for you. Again, you get 10 points per day, 5 for dressing out, 5 for participating. So that's 10 total points per day. So if you miss school, you get 0 points. If it's an excused absence because you're not feeling well, you get 0 points. If it's a medical excuse because you have a doctor's appointment, you will get 0 points. The only thing that will allow your points for being gone is a school-related absence, which would be something like an athletic event, some kind of school-sponsored activity like a field trip, or if you're on, let's say, student council and you guys have some kind of a, community service day. If it's supported by the school, then it'll have an S in PowerSchool, and I will give you the points for that. Everybody else, you do not get points for not being here. And if we think about this in a math class, if you're gone and the teacher hands out a quiz, and you're not there to answer the questions, I don't think you get points for that. If you're not there, you do not get points on the quiz. So if you're not in my class, you cannot get points for participation. It's very simple. So before you start to freak out about this, some of you that are very worried about missing school, if it's an excused absence, I do and I will allow you to make it up. Okay? So that's kind of this last point here. If you have to you're missing 10 points, you would come to my advisory. I would put a heart rate monitor either on your forearm or on your upper arm and ask you to maybe head outside or to head to the gymnasiums and exercise. For every 15 minutes that your heart is beating at 145 beats per minute or higher, you would get those 10 points back. So we've had students do this in the past. They'll go outside maybe and run around the track, or they'll run around the gymnasiums for 30 minutes, and they're kind of sweaty or something. They come back, I take the heart rate monitor, I plug it into my computer, and it'll tell me they averaged 154 beats per minute for that entire 30-minute period. And for that, I would give you 20 points back. Not a bad deal, since the class is only 45 minutes long and 15 minutes is all you have to do to make it up. So there is a pathway to make up missing points, and that's how we're going to do it. Again, I'm very excited to be your teacher for this semester, and I hope we can make it a very good one. I will be out of school Monday and Tuesday this week, but I will return on Wednesday. So the expectation is that the first day of class, you come to the room, sit down, watch this video if you'd like during the hour, and then there will be a Google quiz posted on Tuesday, day 2, going over the topics that I discussed in this video. So when you're answering the Google quiz, you're more than welcome to refer back to this video and trying to figure out what the answers are and then submit your quiz. That'll be our first quiz of the semester. So Wednesday when we return, we will talk about lockers, and we will talk about how you enter and exit class and where I want you to be at what points in time. So we're not really going to start any physical activity to the second week of school. So I look forward to meeting all of you, and hopefully we have a wonderful semester.